Welcome to the fourth and final Hebrew alphabet lesson in Biblingo. This is a picture of the Great Isaiah Scroll, one of the greatest discoveries among the Dead Sea Scrolls at Qumran in Israel. After you go through this lesson and complete the alphabet exercises, you'll be able to read this scroll, the biblical text. The Great Isaiah Scroll will still be pretty tough to decipher because, well, it's 2,000 years old. But you can open up your Bible to Isaiah and start reading in the original language. You might not understand everything, but you will have taken the first step to reading the Bible in the original language. You can actually see this scroll and other scrolls at the link found next to the image. Now let's get into the final consonants. First, we have Nun. Nun is a Kamnifatz letter, which means that it has a final letter. Just like the other final letters we've learned, the final letter extends beyond the line of writing. Next we have Kuf. Kuf is pronounced just like the Kaf with a dagesh in it in modern, and in biblical it's pronounced a little bit deeper, Kuf. Next we have the last Bagad Kafat letter. This is another example of where modern Hebrew does not distinguish between the dalet with and without a dagesh. It's always pronounced D. But in biblical, it's pronounced D and the. And finally, we come to our last consonant, Tet. Tet is pronounced identical to Taf in the modern pronunciation, just with a normal T sound. However, in biblical, it's actually a pharyngalized T, Ta. Again, this sound is pretty different than anything we have in English, so you want to give it a few extra practice rounds. And now to the final vowels. This is a vav written with a dot in the middle of it, and it's just pronounced U. For the transliteration, we've written a line above the U to symbolize that this is a long letter, which was probably originally pronounced a little bit longer than the kibbutz. Next we have Hataf Patach. The Hataf Patach is a shva combined with a patach. There are actually three vowels that combine one vowel with a shva, and they're all called hataf and then the vowel. We've transliterated this with the bowl shape on top of the letter to tell you that these are the hataf vowels. Originally, these vowels were pronounced just a little bit shorter than their non-shva counterparts. Next we have hataf kamatz, which is pronounced O in modern Hebrew or O in biblical. And finally, Hataf Segol, which is E. Next, we have two cases where the Yod is pronounced as a vowel. This is when it is immediately preceded by a Hirik and you don't have a vowel letter underneath the Yod. So here we have a long E sound, E. And again, we've written it with the line on top. Finally, we have the Tzere Yod. The same rules apply as the last letter. There's no vowel underneath the Yod, and in the transliteration, the E has a line on top. So it's a long E sound. And here are the similar letters that you've learned in this lesson. We've seen the Tet, and this can look very similar to Mem. The difference is that Mem has the hole in the bottom left, and Tet has the hole in the top left. Next we have final Kaf versus the Dalet. The only difference between final Kaf and Dalet is that final Kaf extends beyond the line of writing. Next we have Kaf and Nun. In some scripts, these won't look very similar, but in a lot of them, they do. The main difference is that Kaf looks like a full C, and Nun looks kind of truncated at the top. Next we have Vav and final Nun. Again, these letters are pretty much identical, except that the final Nun extends beyond the line of writing. And finally, we have Resh and Dalet. Resh is written with a curve in the top right-hand corner, and Dalet is two straight lines put together. That's it for the Hebrew alphabet lessons in Biblingo. Good luck on your language learning journey.